Geopolitik kini semakin mempengaruhi pasaran, rantaian bekalan dunia semakin berpecah, manakala ketidaksamaan teknologi dan kepercayaan muncul sebagai risiko utama kepada perniagaan. Laporan Risiko Global 2026 menyifatkan dunia sedang memasuki apa yang digelar sebagai era persaingan di mana risiko politik kini sama pentingnya dengan faktor ekonomi. Persoalannya, bagaimana industri global perlu menyesuaikan strategi mereka? Mampukah daya tahan menggantikan pengurusan risiko tradisional dan adakah tanggungjawab masih boleh menjadi kelebihan daya saing dalam dunia yang semakin terpecah? Editor kanan Esrawani Najib Aruf ada laporannya.
Persoalan besar yang bermain di fikiran di World Economic Forum 2026 ini adalah soal bagaimana perkembangan geoekonomik, geopolitikal dalam membentuk dasar ekonomi. Tapi pada masa sama kita ingin melihat reaksi industri dalam berdepan ketidaktentuan ini. Kerana pada akhirnya mereka yang melabur wang untuk membuka perniagaan, mengembangkan perniagaan, apakah yang akan memberikan impak pada perniagaan mereka? Bagaimana untuk mereka mengemudi perkara-perkara ini dan juga situasi yang unik dan juga amat kritikal ini? Itu yang kita ingin bincangkan pada episod pada kali ini. Saya berbesar hati, saya bersama dengan Francisco Betty, iaitu Head Global Industries Team, member of the Executive Committee World Economic Forum. Francisco, thank you so much for joining us at this time. I want to start our discussion with the current or the latest report by World Economic Forum, which is the Global Risk Report. It mentioned about the age of competition with geopolitics increasingly shapes trade and also industries. How do you see the industry should rethink their strategies, and also at the same time how different industries react to it?
Absolutely, no, and thank you for having me today. The pleasure to be here with you. Live from Davos. I think that what is very interesting is that geopolitics is becoming as one of the major risks in the report. And that means two things for companies. On the one hand, I mean, every company really needs to try to develop what we call a geopolitics capability and muscles to really understand how the landscape is changing and how fast it is changing to be able to adjust. But then on the other hand, the second element is really to embrace what we call continuous adaptation, which is the ability to respond as fast as possible to whichever disruptions we may be facing, whether related to geopolitics or other of the trends that I'll be very happy to discuss. You know, companies need to develop this ability to respond on the spot and be able to adjust to that, whether it's their operations, their business models, the way in which they run their global businesses.
You mentioned about the trends just now. We also have some of the forums in Malaysia which predicts the mega trends that will happen throughout the year, especially for 2026. You could share with us some of the trends. But sometimes all these trends are projected beforehand, and a lot of things can happen during that time. For instance, the changes of foreign policies and all that will definitely impact the way business do things and all that. You could share with us the trends that you're foresee.
Absolutely. I think there are 3-4 major trends that companies are monitoring, but also that they are using as, let's say, North Star to develop their new strategies and adjust, as I was mentioning before. Number one, we talk about geopolitics, right? A lot can change on the trend global landscapes. We are seeing new dynamics playing out. That means a lot for every company, especially with manufacturing operations who have a global footprint, right? You need to rethink about your suppliers, your customers, how you will be servicing them, how you will be reconfiguring the way in which those value chains operate, and that's number one. Number two, it's everything that has to do with geoeconomics, right? What is the growth path that we're going to see in the year ahead, and how, as a company, you adjust mainly your business model and the way in which you are setting business strategy, prices, and so on and so forth. Number three, I think it's everything that has to do with access to talent, workforce transformation for what is now what we call, you know, the age of artificial intelligence. And number four, I think, is the need to, as urgently and possible, unlock innovation through AI and other technologies, but there's a desperate need not just to use AI and technology to transform operations to be more efficient, but also to think about new value creation, new business models.
Yeah, those days for the business to, in their consideration in opening up and expand and do the expansion for business into other countries and all that, are looking at maybe cheap labor or the cost efficiency aspect of it. But now there's a lot of consideration to be made by each business, I would say. How do you see that the current situation, especially the tariff war, at the end of the day, it will impact the decision making of the corporate or the industries in making decision where to expand and how to expand and how much in terms of risk calculation for the business itself.
Yeah, I think it is changing. It continues changing, like you said, but it's a change that started many years ago, right? We have seen value chains transforming. We have seen a situation in which, access to labor is not mainly the main competitive advantage as it was in the past, and companies are looking into access to resources, whether it's minerals, critical minerals, access to affordable and sustained energy, which is needed to power the facilities, the ability to have access to a network, an ecosystem of suppliers. That's another key challenge, because it's not about moving a factory from one place to the other. You need to bring the entire value chain with you along the way. Access to talent and access to research and development capabilities, which is mainly knowledge and your ability to then power innovation from whichever facility in which you may need to be producing going forward.
Yeah. It's very, very crucial what you mentioned just now. I want to talk about this topic as well, the small medium enterprises. This is because you've been to Kuala Lumpur for many times, so you know that the backbone of our economy is small medium enterprises.
It is.
Right? And it's very crucial. I want to link the MSMEs into the advancements of technology such as AI, because a lot of the AI advancements, it's happening so rapidly that even not just the government, even the corporate, the MSMEs find it difficult for them to chase it along. How do you see that the small medium enterprises, not just from my region, maybe from other countries that we can learn from, is chasing and also adapting to AI advancement that is so rapidly changing and happening currently?
I think that it's important to mention that in most countries, small and medium-sized enterprises make up in between 95-99% of the economic landscape, right, across all the companies. So it's a significant portion of every national economy. And I think it is fair to mention that in the context of this AI-driven transformation that we are seeing, they are the ones who are most at risk of being left behind.
Yep.
Right? I think that when you are a large company, you have the means and capabilities to invest big. When you're running a smaller enterprise, you have no choice other than following the trend, but making those investments, those commitments, train your people becomes even harder and harder. So two patterns that we are seeing to make sure that SMEs are brought on board. Number one is making sure that the large companies really somehow support their suppliers in this transformation. They embed the SMEs that work with, who are part of the value chains, into the digital transformation, AI-driven transformation programs, and there's a lot of coaching and mentoring that can happen. On the other hand, I think there's a huge opportunity for public-private cooperation in this space.
Right.
And this is an area in which the collaboration, not just with big corporations, but also with governments, can be essential to develop the right programs and then brings on board SMEs on the digital transformation journey and the AI journey.
Having planning and good plans is very important, But for the past few years, at least, through this platform, World Economic Forum, we've discussed about rebuilding trust and all that. And it's not an easy task, given that what's happening around the world and all that. But how do you see that with the trust level is decreasing towards institutions and all that? How do you see the industries can join hand in hand to ensure that the trust is built again by the public and by so many aspects of the society?
It's a great question. There are probably two steps. I think number one is being part of the conversation. The theme of this annual meeting is the spirit of dialogue. I mean, there's a reason of why that's the main theme, and it's mainly because it's the very foundational step that is needed to rebuild trust among the different stakeholders that operate in society, in our economies. The second one, I think, is moving then from the discussion into identifying those areas in which joint actions can be put in place, right? Whether it's across companies, in between companies and governments, but really not just to bring on board, as we were saying before, small and medium enterprises where there is an immediate business need, but also consumer society and countries at large.
Yeah. My final question to you, Francisco, because he's a busy guy, so he has a lot of engagement after this. What do you hope from this session, World Economic Forum 2026, especially for industries to understand better? One thing, they understand the challenges ahead, but what is it that you hope, instead of just having dialogue, but action must be taken not just from the corporate side, but also from the world leaders itself?
I think there are many areas where I hope we'll be able to gain a common understanding and identify opportunities where collaboration can really happen, whether it's on workforce transformation that has to happen at scale across every nation right at the time in which we are seeing AI changing the way in which we work, or when it comes to collaboration on access to technology, the distribution of technology. I really hope that we're going to find at least a couple of areas where concrete action will be able to happen in the year ahead, and I'm confident that through discussions it will happen and we're going to get there.
All right, let's just hope for the best. Francisco, thank you so much for joining us this time. Okay, itu bagaimana kita melihat bahawa peranan corporate itu dan juga bagaimana untuk berdepan dengan ketidaktentuan. Ini bukan kerja yang mudah, ada banyak perkara yang perlu diselesaikan dan juga ditangani oleh pihak swasta, dan juga seperti yang Francisco sebutkan tadi, ini adalah peluang pekerjaan yang mereka sediakan dan penting untuk mereka terlibat sama dalam dialog tersebut mencari penyelesaian. Sekian saja laporan saya untuk World Economic Forum 2026 dari Davos, Switzerland. Banyak lagi perkembangan yang kita akan bawakan selepas ini.